Based on a beautiful, really important book, and it's about a young woman named Lily who confronts the generational cycles in her life.
I mean, honestly, the way that I get into a character is through their style. So it was more about who Lily is that was so fascinating to me.
Hollywood has a knack for turning an ordinary production into the year's biggest backstage mystery, leaving fans and onlookers to decipher cryptic clues, conflicting reports, and sensational rumors. The swirling drama surrounding Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni's adaptation of It Ends With Us may seem, at first glance, like a simple case of creative differences. However, some dedicated observers have been poring over interviews, offhand remarks, and subtle interactions, piecing together a mischievous theory. What if Baldoni had been subtly warning us about Lively all along? Could he have anticipated the brewing conflict and, in his own understated way, tried to tip us off about an impending Hollywood showdown? Of course, for anyone seeking concrete evidence, proceed with caution. This speculation falls firmly into the realm of playful interpretation rather than verified fact. Neither Baldoni nor Lively has made any explicit warnings or public declarations against each other. Instead, this theory is built upon glances, tweets, interviews, and creative readings of behind-the-scenes tension. Yet, the speculation gained momentum as real-life friction between the two stars escalated, with whispers of defamation claims, legal maneuvering, and even possible record manipulation dominating headlines. Fans began re-examining Baldoni's past comments, wondering if he had foreseen the turbulence long before it became public. Initially, everything seemed promising. Lively brought star power and heartfelt sincerity to her role, while Baldoni was known for crafting emotionally resonant stories on screen. Enthusiastic readers of the novel anticipated a faithful adaptation that would capture the book's themes of self-discovery and resilience. But then trouble arose. Reports of creative disagreements emerged, with some suggesting that Lively favored a stylish, fashion-forward approach that leaned into comedy, a stark contrast to the novel's deeply emotional core. What started as an exciting collaboration quickly unraveled into one of Hollywood's most talked about behind-the-scenes conflicts. Whether Baldoni truly saw it coming or not remains up for debate, but one thing is certain. This film's production has become just as dramatic as the story it aims to tell.
It's a bit of a tough adjustment in our house, but it's good. I mean, I have two other daughters, so my oldest is very into the baby, but my middle child, not so much. But we're thinking of keeping her.
Does she like play with her? What does she think?
Well, she sort of like pretends to play with her. So like in the beginning, our oldest is like loving on her, and she's like very maternal, and then our middle daughter is just keeps away from her.
And find my way back to center. That is one thing I can assure you of. And I'm sorry I made you feel that way. That must have felt terrible. And I will for sure do better. It was not my best weekend, and I should have given it time. And damn right, you got great friends if that's how you felt and they knew that. And we should all have friends like that, aside from the fact that they're two of the most creative people on the planet. The three of you guys together, it's unbelievable. Talk about energy, force, all three of you. But I just wanted you to know that I didn't need that, because it's really good, and it's going to make the movie sing like you said, and I'm excited to go through the whole movie with you. I'm just excited to spend time with you. I'm excited to be in your sphere and your presence, and for us to share creative juices together, although that sounds terrible. I think you and I have been trying to build a relationship, which I think we've done successfully. I mean, here we are.
Conversely, Baldoni was rumored to favor a more subdued approach, staying true to the novel's raw, emotional tone. While creative disagreements are common in the film industry, where ideas often evolve through compromise, this particular clash escalated when Lively reportedly felt sidelined. She hinted that certain promotional decisions and stylistic choices strayed from the book's essence. In response, Baldoni, now facing public backlash, fired back with a defamation claim, arguing that her comments had damaged his career. Things took a surreal turn when accusations emerged that Lively or her supporters had manipulated documents to push a particular narrative. Even more bizarre was the growing theory that Baldoni had been subtly warning everyone about Lively from the start, through side eyes, careful phrasing in interviews, and strategic silences. While this idea is obviously far-fetched, it gained momentum, especially after 10 prominent celebrities publicly defended Lively, painting her as a performer known for her sincerity, dedication, and loyalty to a project's best interests. So how does that square with the idea that Baldoni had been quietly waving a warning flag all along? Below is a playful reimagining of 10 moments that fans now interpret as possible Baldoni warnings. 10 times he might have subtly hinted at impending turmoil, should Lively's relentless pursuit of creative authenticity collide with Hollywood's conventional approach. Think of these as scattered puzzle pieces. On their own, they seem insignificant, but viewed through a comedic lens, they start forming a picture. Was Baldoni all but flashing neon letters, spelling out "Take heed"? The first so-called warning happened early in the adaptation's development. Baldoni gave a thoughtful interview about the importance of preserving a novel's core message. Though he never mentioned Lively by name, he made a point of emphasizing that some talented Hollywood figures, whose names he wouldn't mention, tend to favor polished comedy, even when a story demands sobering intensity. Was this a subtle nod to Lively's vision for the film? Maybe, or perhaps it was simply a broader statement about his filmmaking philosophy. But in the realm of internet speculation, fans could already hear the dramatic whisper. He tried to warn us. The second moment that sparked intrigue occurred at an industry event where both Lively and Baldoni were scheduled to appear. According to rumors, when the cameras were off, Baldoni appeared visibly uneasy when Lively brought up modernized costumes and comedic elements. Allegedly, he smiled a bit too widely and responded with a carefully non-committal. That's an interesting approach. Some eagle-eyed observers, self-proclaimed pop culture detectives, claimed that his expressions seemed to say, "But are we about to lose sight of the novel's heart?" Fans dubbed this warning number 2, joking that his cautious grin spoke volumes.
I was testing for a show that ended up actually getting picked up and doing very well, and I was one of 2 people maybe, and then I get a call from my managers and my agent, and they were both on the line, which means it's something serious. Right. Either you got the job or there's something wrong. Yeah. And they said, "So you were the choice, but the network said that your eyebrows would be too distracting."
Oh, what? Oh, no.
And then they went like, "So what can we do about your eyebrows?"
Hey, Blake. It is 2 in the morning. Hopefully this does not wake you up. Whew. Wow. There's so much I want to say to you, and I hope that we can FaceTime or see each other in person soon, and send you a few thoughts. And hopefully it's not going to be more than a few minutes, but that'll have the best track record. I don't think either one of us have the best track record for our voice memos. I want to start with an apology. Man, reading the second part of your message, my heart sank. And I'm really sorry.
The third example revolves around a curious case of social media timing. Baldoni reportedly shared an inspirational post about staying true to a story's emotional weight, just minutes after Lively posted a series of lighthearted behind-the-scenes photos, complete with witty captions. The comedic rumor mill had a field day with this coincidence. Why emphasize emotional depth right after Lively's playful showcase? Some speculated that he was subtly nudging audiences to notice the disconnect between the novel's gravity and Lively's more comedic interpretation. Of course, in reality, the timing was likely coincidental, but speculation doesn't rely on facts. The fourth supposed warning emerged as legal disputes began bubbling up. In an interview with a major film magazine, Baldoni carefully spoke about the dangers of overenthusiasm from certain creative voices. While he assured audiences that compromise was possible, he firmly stated that this story mattered deeply to fans who wanted an authentic adaptation. In hindsight, some now see this as his polite way of signaling, "This isn't a standard Hollywood comedy. Any attempt to push it in that direction could cause major friction." This was arguably the moment when fans began stitching together earlier coincidences, convinced Baldoni had been dropping subtle hints all along. The fifth moment fueling the comedic, he tried to warn us theory surfaced in a short clip from a promotional event. The camera captured a fleeting exchange between Baldoni and Lively. She was gesturing animatedly, presumably describing a lively comedic scene or a costume idea. Baldoni listened politely, but gave the slightest tilt of his head, as if mentally weighing the implications of these ideas on a story rooted in deep introspection. His half smile, was it mild concern, or just a passing expression between colleagues? Speculative fans quickly labeled this warning number 5, locking it into their grand theory. The sixth supposed signal took on a more dramatic tone as defamation rumors spread. In a carefully worded statement, Baldoni described the film's behind-the-scenes atmosphere as filled with passionate minds, and acknowledged that sometimes creative passion leads to misunderstandings. To most, this sounded like a standard Hollywood soundbite. But to those immersed in the comedic reinterpretation, it carried a subtext. I tried to be transparent, but forces bigger than me insisted on comedy and flashy promotion.
I'm honored, and I'm also more honored that because, what we're talking about is so important and so meaningful, that we're able to have this much anticipation, and so many people want to go see it and are talking about it. Like, that's what I'm grateful for.
And you had a key part in bringing it to the big screen. How did this all come to be?
Well, in 2019, I read the book. I was sent the book by my book agent and friend at the time, and I was looking for films that could inspire, that were commercially viable, but also could really reach in and touch somebody's heart.
But there's no hesitancy. I'm happy to send it to you, and I'm sorry that has happened to you before. And I hope after this experience there will be a new. I don't know. I hope it'll be healing in some way, because that's all I want. I want this movie to be healing. I want this movie to be commercial, just like you, and affect people and touch people. And I want to walk you through my whole plan and the work that we're doing with the domestic violence partner that we found, No More, and just my vision. And I just know that this can be really, really special, and it's going to be special. And you're the secret sauce, and we're the secret sauce. And anyways, I have so much more to say. I'm going to stop rambling because, Jesus Christ, it's been 6 minutes and 30 seconds, so me. I'm sorry. You probably have kids all over you and a baby on your boob, and you're listening to me ramble at 2 in the morning. I hope you're feeling better, and give Ryan my love. Thank you for sending me that. It means the world to me that you trust me with your feelings and your thoughts like that. And I can't wait to spend more time with you. Okay, I'm done cutting myself off. Good night.
Perhaps, as the rumor goes, this was Baldoni's final red flag. If you're already picturing him metaphorically jumping up and down, mouthing "I told you so," you're not alone. This comedic storyline thrives on that exact kind of hyperbole. The seventh alleged warning took shape when the swirling rumors of doctored documents took center stage. Suddenly, people noticed that Lively, backed by an army of supporters, was presenting the situation as though certain decisions had been forced upon her. Baldoni, in response, called the allegations untrue and harmful. Those indulging in comedic subtext speculated that this was code for "I've been trying to warn everyone that this could turn into a major conflict." And now, here we are, knee-deep in outlandish claims. Of course, none of this was stated outright, which is precisely why fans have spent hours dissecting even the tone of his voice in interviews. The eighth supposed warning came when Lively's high-profile friends, Ryan Reynolds, Anna Kendrick, Taylor Swift, Jessica Alba, Emma Stone, Christian Louboutin, Florence Welch, Meryl Streep, and Kate Winslet, publicly defended her integrity. As soon as those big names stepped in, Baldoni appeared on a talk show, where he calmly repeated that a thorough legal process would clarify who was right. The comedic spin. Some watchers argued that his emphasis on waiting for legal clarity was basically him saying, "I can't speak freely about it now, but trust me, I've seen the storm clouds brewing from the start." He never directly pointed a finger at Lively, yet fans reading between the lines were convinced this was another subtle warning. The ninth warning veers into pure comedic speculation. Reports surfaced suggesting that even Disney had taken an interest, allegedly siding with Baldoni, whether due to future business partnerships or confidence in his version of events. While the real-world motivation was likely financial or strategic, the comedic reimagining paints Baldoni as a man who walked into a boardroom, placed his hands on the table, and declared, "Listen, folks, I've been quietly raising caution flags about comedic overreach and the risk of overshadowing the novel's emotional core." Now it's spiraled into a full-blown document controversy. This is bigger than we thought. In this exaggerated retelling, corporate executives solemnly nodded, acknowledging that Baldoni had, in fact, been right all along. And finally, we arrive at the grandest warning of all, one that looms in a swirl of speculation about what might happen next.
Read it, because I was looking for movies that could be commercial and speak to the human experience. And
Were you reading romance novels?
And I had never read a romance novel.
Never?
And she said, "Just trust me, read it." So I read it, and by the end of the book, I couldn't even read the text on the page because I was crying so much. My wife was in bed next to me, and she's, got snot coming out of my nose.
Talking like this, me into my phone at 2 a.m, but largely via text and voice note. And that, I will be honest with you, that is not my biggest strength. I love being with people and being in somebody's space and being face to face. And I feel like that's where I excel, and definitely fallen short at times in our text and voice note exchanges, because there's so much to communicate and there's so much happening. And all that to say, I'm just really looking forward to spending time together. I think that's going to really go a long way. So chemistry, which I believe is there, and it's been there from the start. So I was so damn excited when you wanted to do this film. I felt it in the room when we met, and yeah, I think it does come to both of us being hardworking and having a vision and not settling.
People are buzzing that if the lawsuit proceeds, digital forensics could reveal who, if anyone, manipulated or misrepresented key communications. With Baldoni leaning on a strategy emphasizing technological proof, some fans are now revisiting his past statements about how facts and heartfelt storytelling should always guide film projects. Did he mean that literally, as in, no manipulated evidence should ever overshadow the true essence of a story? In comedic hindsight, this might have been his most blatant attempt to caution the world. Blake Lively is a brilliant performer, but could behind-the-scenes tangles have turned what should have been comedic synergy into full-blown confusion? Yet, in a bizarre twist, if Lively's team successfully verifies the authenticity of her records, it could be Baldoni who overplayed his hand. That would erase the entire comedic premise that he was some kind of quiet, all-knowing seer, replacing it with a scenario where his so-called warnings were just standard Hollywood press chatter. Of course, this is precisely why the speculation remains so entertaining. Nobody actually knows how the legal and public perception arcs will conclude. We can scroll through every tweet, analyze every interview, and replay every clip 100 times. But until the courts and forensic experts weigh in, this remains a swirling storm of question marks. Perhaps the real moral of the story is how easily a collaborative project can be overshadowed by behind-the-scenes drama. It Ends With Us was initially celebrated for its emotional depth, exploring themes of personal growth and resilience. Now, ironically, it's the friction of creative disagreements, rumored rebranding efforts, and the clash between comedic flair and raw faithfulness to the text that dominate the conversation. Some worry that the film may never capture the novel's poignant essence. Instead, public attention is fixated on accusations of manipulation, countersuits, and statements from high-profile defenders. Even if the movie does get completed, will it reflect the author's original vision, or will it bear the scars of all this controversy? And what about the future reputations of Lively and Baldoni? Both have long enjoyed goodwill in Hollywood.